1580 to get the map. With your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio on the side of the nation. Me and Dominique the Prima go way back. Tax finally making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. First things first with the Queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique the Prima. Go sis.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique the Prima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing today, just like every day, is giving thanks to God, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's do this. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to do. Okay, so it's a Think Tank Thursday, right? So this is when we are meant to put on those thinking hats and work things through, like a giant crowd-funded, crowd-sourced think tank, right? So that's what we do on a Thursday. Hour one, it's me, you, and the microphone. I think we have a special surprise in hour two, but we're going to see. We were meant to have Brother Ashwa Kwesi, but he will be joining us tomorrow instead, and he's going to be joining us live in the studio, which is a really special treat. Ashwa Kwesi, for those of you who do not know, is one of the premier scholars in the world on the early and ancient history of Kemet, a.k.a. Egypt, reminding us that Egypt is in Africa and unpacking Christmas from a Kemetic standpoint. It's always a good conversation. And he is a legend, so I'm excited to have him in the studio with me tomorrow. And that's why I say, Wolf, you have a special surprise in hour two. In hour three, we're talking with attorney Ariva Martin, looking at unboxing the national politics, the legalities, is that a word? The legal and the illegal of what is happening right now on the world stage and in our nation's capital, which of course affects each and every one of us wherever we are at. Excited to be joining in a special celebration. When the governor signs something into law, they often have a signing ceremony. If it's something special that the governor has, wants to highlight or whatever. And in this case, we're doing a community sign-off, a community signing ceremony, which will be celebrating Waukesha's Law. For those of you not familiar, you probably are if you listen to this show, Waukesha's Law is something that's been hard fought for by the family of Waukesha Wilson, Miss Lisa Hines and Miss Sheila Hines, along with Black Lives Matter LA, which is the LA branch of BLM Grassroots. And they have fought and fought, and now that has been carried as a bill by Assembly Member Isaac Bryant. It passed and was signed into law by the governor this year. And this, what it does is it makes it now the law of the land that the sheriffs or police, and this is all over the state of California, in jail, in prison, in local lockup like the city jails, county jails, and the state prisons, they all must notify the family members of anyone who is either gravely injured and hospitalized or killed while in custody. And you might think, why do we need a bill for that? That's common sense. But the fact of it is that it's not common sense, apparently, because, as I've said many times, I have talked to quite a few families over the years who have had loved ones killed in custody and out, who by police, who never got notification. Like never ever, like years went by and they were never notified. And some was, days and days, in the case of Waukesha, close to a week, where she was looking for her daughter, had gone to court, daughter's not there, and tracks her down, only to finally be given a phone number that turns out to be the coroner's office when she calls it. Never wanting that to happen to another mama, Ms. Lisa Hines went on a quest. And now that is signed into the law of the land for California, and it is being carried at the national level by Congresswoman Sidney Comlager-Dove. Now, the reality of whether or not we can pass anything federally, probably can't declare Wednesday a day of the week with this particular Congress, right? Unless we're changing Thursday to Trump Day, they're not going to do it. But it's still important that it's being carried, and they're not going to control Congress forever. So eventually this will be the law of the land. And so that's great news, something like I like to say, a palate cleanser for your morning and a reminder to be courageous even when things seem rather grim, rather problematic, and hard. Yeah. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard to win an Olympic medal. That doesn't mean we don't do it. It's hard to make another human being. Well, it's not that hard to make one. It's hard to raise one. But we do it all the time, right? And so it's hard and necessary go together in this case. If you want to join me on the stream, we're at youtube.com, KBLA 1580, and you are welcome there. I'd love to see you. And there's a conversation that goes on in the comments section, which is quite delightful. You too can be part of our KBLA delegation. So, all right, Molly Bell, our chairwoman of the chat, I'm calling on you right now. What the heck is going on in the city of Compton? What is prompting that? Well, former Compton council member Isaac, if you want to say it the Spanish way, or Isaac Galvan, pleading guilty this week to bribing a city councilwoman for cannabis permits. Now, you remember that this guy, Galvan, is the guy that cheated in the election, and he won, air quotes, won by one vote more than he needed, and then it turned out he had all these people voting that didn't even live in the city of Compton. And then he also had this other matter, which is the cannabis matter, and this is where he bribed a councilman from another city to get cannabis, permits, licenses. He pleaded guilty to one count of bribery, one count of tax evasion, because he didn't report $500,000 in income. And this guy's shady, and I don't mean to say that he represents the city of Compton. I think it's a good sign that he ended up, coming clean, if you will. But remember, the reason he's not a councilman anymore is because he cheated. He rigged the vote. He is probably one of 4 or 5 people in the whole nation that ever cheated the vote. Vote cheating is such a overstated non-crisis, a problem in search of a solution. A solution in search of a problem. But in this case, it apparently did happen. And now it's come to light. Now, all of this, and I don't claim to be an expert on Compton. That's why I said calling Molly Bell, calling all Comptonites. What is happening? I don't claim to be an expert. The city of Compton has its own governance. They have their own mayor, their own city council. They used to have their own police department. Now it's run by the sheriffs, which not everybody is happy about. But remember, it's an election year. So how does all of this play out? I'm not sure, but I know that when we hear the really sad news about DJ Quick's son being convicted of murder and facing 40 years in prison, that he was, I believe, working for or working with Galvan at that time. So all of this stuff is sort of intertwined, and I don't claim to have all the answers. That's why I'm asking you. But I know for sure that it's going to be a wild election year next year. David Blake Jr., that's the name of Quick's son. He got convicted of second-degree murder, and he could be looking at up to 40 years. This is about 5 years ago all of this went down. But all of these things are linked. And, I wonder if that link is going to be made legally, or if this man just says, okay, I bribed someone for a cannabis license and then moved on. I don't know. We know from looking at the story of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls that murders can go unsolved an awfully long time in California or Nevada on the West Coast, the Wild West. But he was convicted of killing Julio Cardosa Jr. And that's what the court found. I hate to see violence in our community, and I hate to see young, brilliant, promising black men going into the system. The sentencing for that case is February 6th, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that, and I just, really feel for the family, the whole family, families, because there are multiple families involved in that tragedy. 800-920-1580, that's the number. I invite you to call. If you want to talk to me about something, if you have something on your mind, or you want to commiserate, share some information, all of that is on the table as usual. And it's funny, when we talk about violence, particularly when we talk about police violence, I've been doing some deep dives into that, looking at the numbers, where people are being killed, what happens in those cases, and what I have found, which I knew theoretically, but it just doesn't really hit home, is that you hear about George Floyd, you hear about Breonna Taylor, right? Ezell Ford, Elijah McClain. There are some, Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland. I'm saying their names. Some of them you hear about, and we know the name. And I think that in our minds we believe that those are all the people that were killed. Like, I know all their names. I know Trayvon Martin. I know Dejon Kazee. I know Grichario Mack. I know about all these black men and some women whose lives have been stolen by police violence. I know that because I read the news, I pay attention. I know what the signs were at the protests. I know what they're arguing about on TV. But when you start doing a deep dive, like what I've been doing of late, what you find out is that you don't know all their names. You don't even come close to knowing all their names. We're talking about close to 1,000 people, or over 1,000, not less than 1,000 every year since 2020. And sometimes we have to, we have to keep talking about it even when it's not the main headline. In fact, especially when it's not the main headline. Because if we, and by we I mean progressives, by we I mean black people, by we I mean Latinos, by we I mean people whose communities are being directly impacted, if we don't talk about it, then everyone will go along thinking, oh, Sandra Bland, I know all the people that were murdered by police. Did you know Konoa Wilson? Neither did I. More on that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique when we come forward.
I got the champagne. Everybody get glad.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received the First Place Award presented by the Los Angeles Press Club for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Charmin Ultra Strong. You can use less, better than the rest. Charmin Ultra Strong. Booty pasta clean test. Diamond wave texture, it's the best. Study up, teach a lesson on fresh. Your booty pasta clean test. Charmin Ultra Strong.
Charmin Ultra Strong with diamond weave texture cleans better than the leading one-ply brand, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Nugget bills, nuggets all the way.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm John.
And I'm Garrison.
And a little thing we love about the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets
is sharing them when we cut down the Christmas tree.
We will pack the car with gifts, and of course, we go and pick up our family's favorite nuggets.
Every nugget is tasty times quadrillion.
And we get all the sides.
Yeah, the ooey gooey mac and cheese is a big hit.
Share the nuggets, share the joy. Order the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Kohl's Customer Appreciation Event is here, right in time for the gift exchange. Even though everyone pretends gifting isn't a competition, it kinda is. At Kohl's, save on gifts everyone will fight over. From sweaters and flannels to air fryers, toaster ovens, and more. Because deep down, the gift exchange isn't just about giving. It's also about winning. Shop Kohl's and save on top gifts now. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offers end December 14th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now. So, of course, I'm paying attention to this stuff. I'm tracking it, and I say, Konoa Wilson. I never heard of Konoa Wilson. Konoa Wilson was a teenager who was killed in 2025 by police. Oh, surely you're talking about Boston or maybe Nairobi. Nope, San Diego. Konoa Wilson was shot as he ran out of the Santa Fe Depot in downtown San Diego, apparently. And the San Diego City Council, San Diego, not LA, is approving a $30 million settlement. Possibly the largest ever settlement from a police killing in the United States. Remember, $27 million is what the city of Minneapolis, that's the settlement they reached with the family of George Floyd. And the city apparently, this happened in 2025, and the settlement is happening in 2025. That never happens. These things stretch on. Now, how long it will take them to actually, get paid, I don't know. I know that people, these folks appeal, and families end up getting strung along and strung out for years and decades. But their attorney, Nicholas Rowley, said that he's never seen a city move this fast. And apparently what happened is that somebody started shooting at the kid. This is this year in January at a train station, and he ran away. And this guy, the cop, Daniel Gold, is a San Diego cop. He'd been there 2 years on the force. Him and his partner, I guess, were responding to a report of an incident. And he started shooting before he said that he was the cops. You know, bam, bam, you're dead. Oh, police, halt. Died at the hospital. It's all on body cam footage. And even though they're saying that the teenager had a gun in his possession, it wasn't visible. It wasn't out, and apparently he was being shot at by alleged gang members on one side. He was just like an innocent kid caught in the crossfire. He was being shot at on one end, and he was running away, and he ran into cops who shot him on the other end. And it's a terrible story. 30 million, 100 million, $1 trillion is not going to get this child back. But my point is, here you have possibly the largest police settlement in history in the United States for a case right down the street. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you're paying more attention than I am. But I would imagine that most of us have never heard of this child, right? And it's just a reminder that because the news cameras are no longer there, because the marches have gotten smaller, because we have a different administration that's saying arrest people roughly and take away their rights, because this administration is going, and not just this administration, the people that love them, the mini MAGAs, are going case by case by case and trying to overturn those few victories that families have had to get some semblance of justice or accountability. It doesn't mean the shootings have stopped, because the Trump administration has ceased all of these consent decrees, right? These police departments that were under supervision of the courts because of their actions, because of not just the so-called bad apple theory, but because what they call a pattern and practice of police abuse. All of these, St. Louis, all of these different police forces under consent decree. Now, the Trump administration has taken that off. The U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division is only investigating grievances of white people. I mean, it sounds like a cartoon. It sounds like something I made up. But that's actually what's happening right now. And because that is where we are in America at the moment, don't be fooled and think that black people are still not being killed by cops. We are waiting to see what happens in the case of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, for example, who, we talked about this before. The cop was being, prosecuted under DA Gascon. A judge has put a pause on matters, but the DA's office now wants to dismiss the case. They want to drop those charges. They want to let that cop go without accountability. And this is happening all over the country every day. And we're talking about 1,000 bodies piling up of U.S. citizens killed by U.S. law enforcement every single year, whether we know their names or not. Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. I always love to hear from you. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bray Wood with VIN News Now. A Detroit man is being praised after walking a 6-year-old girl over 10 blocks to school in freezing 10-degree weather. Joshua Threat streamed the moment on Facebook Live, saying he didn't want her in his truck. so he walked beside her.
You got this little precious little girl just out here walking by herself, bro. How old is you? 6? Nah.
The video's gone viral and police confirm the child is safe and they are investigating. A Pennsylvania Catholic deacon is under fire for a social media comment about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Deacon George Garber wrote, "Send her back to Mudtown," in response to a post calling Omar garbage. The Harrisburg Diocese condemned the remark as unacceptable and says it's addressing the matter. And Beyonce is returning to the Met Gala for the first time in a decade. She'll co-chair the May 4th event alongside Venus Williams, Nicole Kidman, and Anna Wintour. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers had some defensive issues last night at Crypto.com against a young and very good San Antonio Spurs team. Without star center Victor Wembanyama, San Antonio still dominated the Lakers for a 132-119 win. The Lakers were down by 20 in the third quarter. Luka and LeBron had productive nights, but it didn't make a difference. Luka finished with a game-high 35 points. LeBron had 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Clippers are back in action tonight in Houston. The Clippers have only 2 wins since November 14th. Congratulations to WNBA star Asia Wilson. The Las Vegas Aces Center was named Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year. Wilson led Las Vegas to their 3rd WNBA championship in 4 years. She led the league in scoring and block shots last season, 23.4 points per game and 2.3 block shots. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an adult in need of accredited high school diploma, the Los Angeles Public Library can help. You can earn one for free in as few as 5 months online with 24/7 access. You also get a personal academic coach plus special training focused on 9 in-demand industries as well as a resume and cover letter to advance your career. Visit the website at lapl.org/diploma. That's lapl.org/diploma.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African-American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, and by the way, relevant to the conversation about former Compton Councilman Isaac Galvan is that he is facing a minimum of 10 years in prison. So talking about some real prison time. I don't know how that pencils out as far as what he'll actually serve, but it's going to be a chunk of time. So here's a Think Tank Thursday question for you. How do you keep your child or yourself, but mostly I'm talking about our kids and grandkids, safe online? There's always these alarming reports on TV news and studies that are published in print papers and journals about how kids are in danger online. And to some extent, maybe we think it's overstated. I think the Dateline story is always about some kid who meets a predator online through a video game or through a communication platform like Discord. And then they meet up with the person, and the person either rapes them or they have sex with the person, or the person coerces them to do drugs or kills them or kidnaps them. That's the story we hear over and over again. But there's another story that I don't think we hear that much, and that I can tell you as a mom may be even more dangerous than that, which is the one they never go and meet. The one they're just talking to, or the ones they are talking to on Discord. Folks, they meet on Roblox. There's an article today in the LA Times about a couple people suing Roblox because their children met predators. Now, in this story, they're talking about a 12-year-old who went with a friend's parents to go meet a kid they thought was a kid they met online who turned out to be an adult. They tried to connect them with older adult men. That's the Dateline story, right? Kid meets someone they think is another kid online, and then they go and meet them somewhere. Trouble ensues. That never goes well. We hope that all of us now are sophisticated enough to try to prevent our children from meeting people in real life that they connected with online by themselves. I mean, look, you've all heard enough dating stories of catfishing and whatnot. Hopefully we're all aware of that danger. And a lot of our kids are too. I mean, children are naive. We're all susceptible to being tricked sometimes. I remember my mom, may she rest in peace, calling me, talking about, is your son in England? Because I got a call saying, he needs money right away. I'm like, Mom, it's a school day. How would my son be in England? My mom is brilliant, right, or was brilliant. But she really believed that her grandbaby was in England on a school day in the middle of the week, and she needed to send him money. We can all get caught up. But what I think my question is not about how do we protect them from the Dateline scenario. My question is how do we protect them from, and this applies to older Americans too, based on some DMs I've gotten from people, from getting caught up with people online that they never meet, but who expose them to information, images, things that they're not ready for, that are not age appropriate, that are not true, that are scary, that are predatory. I have seen it time and time again, and I don't know, I don't think that the average parent is even really tracking this, to be honest with you. I don't think the average parent even knows about Discord. And if they know about it, are they monitoring it? There were some crazy conversations going on my child's Discord that I wasn't aware of. I became aware of them. But I have another friend who's a parent who's a techie that has, the app where you can spy on your child's screen on their laptop, where you can see everything they're doing in real time, what they're navigating, and has all of these controls on their child's phone. And I'm not talking about a little kid, I'm talking about a teenager. I don't want my child to be living in a police state. I feel like we have to find ways to protect them. And I always said, well, you teach them good values and you teach them good decision making, then they'll be more protected. But a little kid, you can get on Discord at 13. And anyway, all of these social media platforms that say you can't get on until you're 13, 14, 18, all they do is ask you to put in the date of birth. So any kid that can do simple math can lie and say they're 13 and get on there. And so how do we protect our kids? How do we protect our elders? I have had some people DMing me video of things that they thought were real. Some of them were AI. Some of them were just taken out of context. And they are really freaked out, angered. They're going through psychological and mental health trauma because of stuff that isn't true, that those people, older Americans who are not digital natives, I think Gen Z is the first generation of digital natives, meaning they grew up with all the technology. I think the millennials, your generation, Miles, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of this stuff came in when you were kids, but you remember a world without all of this, without FaceTime and all that, right?
Without FaceTime, we had libraries, we had actual, the big block cell phones,
right?
And, before Wi-Fi.
Right. So Gen Z is the first generation, my child's generation, is first generation, what they call digital natives. They've never lived without this technology.
One whose whole lives has been taken on camera phones, yeah.
Yeah. And
now we got kids that are only going to know life with AI.
Yeah, that's no, that'll be the one after Generation A. Generation A are the little kids now. When they were tiny, they might not remember when there was no AI.
Siri, GP, all that stuff was still around on them, so they were all AI, yeah.
I think there's really a lot of hysteria and over-scaring parents about technology, but I do think the communication, the conversations that are going on, some of them linked to video games like Roblox, where people meet people playing online, and some of them not, just because you can talk to anybody, somebody that you met at school who introduced you. That's what happened with my kid. They met kids through kids at school and then ended up keeping up on Discord. You can talk to someone anywhere in the world.
Yeah, but it gets strange when it's the other way around, when you didn't meet them in real life and then you chat online and goes, you've met them online, have no idea who they really are, and then you start trying to meet up in real life. Not everybody is a real life person for sure.
Yeah, I mean that thing, hopefully, we can't follow our kids around 24 hours a day, right? You just can't. It's impossible. You might think you can, but you can't. You don't have kids yet, Miles, but trust me, you can't. I thought I would be able to. We have jobs. We have, sometimes they have to go to school. You can try. I did try.
Do you even really want to? At the end of the day?
Well, when they're little, yeah, maybe.
You're talking about your friend that got
forever.
the spyware on their kids' phone and laptop.
Yeah.
Showing you how vulnerable your kid is already to get, to not even look over their shoulder to know that their parents watching them like that,
I think the child knows about the laptop, but not the phone. And to me, that's an invasion of privacy. Like, I understand, was J. Anthony Brown that says you don't have a door in your room. I understand that. I'm one of those nosy parents that's, no, you don't get that. You're not going to build a whole bomb in my house. That's not happening around this house. But I don't think it's healthy for kids to be in a Big Brother situation either, where their every move is being monitored. Do you?
I don't think so either. I don't think you need all that. I don't think that's healthy for the kids' development even. So to know that you're literally even though we know we're being monitored at all times, to know that your parents are the one monitoring you, it kind of, I think that may separate your individualism a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to give you psychological problems. That's what I think. Yeah. But you can't just leave them out there in the wild digital west.
Like you said, a lot of these parents have no idea. A lot of these people are doing, and adults are doing the exact same thing. Have no idea who they're talking to, who they're meeting, who's influencing them, who's on the other side of these screens and these conversations.
Yeah, I mean, we all read about the lady who thought she was in a relationship with Brad Pitt, and she was sending all this money to some grifter. So the point is, they don't have to meet them in person for it to do harm. Imagine the videos, texts, information that your child could be exposed to by a person that they're having a very intimate conversation with on Discord.
It don't even have to be real.
It doesn't have to be a real person, but it's just as scary if it is a real person.
I mean, it doesn't have to be real pictures. It doesn't have to be real facts. It doesn't have to be a real video. Like,
oh, yeah, for sure that. And it's AI, but it's not just AI, right? Our kids do things online that we would never allow them to do in real life. Same with older Americans. You wouldn't let grandma go to some sleazy porn club, right? I mean, she's an adult, so technically she could, but we would try to avoid that.
Snatch her up by her wig. Come on, Grandma, we're gone. Nope.
But you know what, Miles? You're wrong for that. You're wrong for that. We wouldn't. But we don't. That whole club can be in messages on Discord.
Sure. Yep.
You know, she doesn't have to leave her house. Your kid doesn't have to leave their room, and that's altering their mentality, how they see the world, and you're competing with that. So my Think Tank Thursday question is, how do you protect? Especially, I mean, if you're tech savvy, super tech savvy, you do like my friend, which to me was the other extreme, monitoring their child's every move. Or other parents who think they can ban it, or they'll just say you can only do an hour a day on your phone or on your computer.
Was there a level of preparing, as I'm not a child, there a level of preparing your child without actually exposing your child, though?
I mean, that was my approach. I did my best. I always felt like, you know, we were talking about rap music and how some of the lyrics are not really safe for kids, not safe for work, but they're going to listen anyway. Just like we bought the Too Short, you know, CDs or tapes out of his trunk or whatever. They're going to listen to it. They're going to get it, especially now online. Kids can find stuff.
Were you like shocked by the Too Short stuff? I'm talking about like you're talking about like extreme levels of shock and stuff that you're going to get, not stuff that your parents do that's taboo. You're getting the world's mess thrown on you. You know what I mean? Was there anything that has like that type of shock value on you?
Well, I mean, if you were a little kid, Freaky Tales was pretty out there, right, at the time.
Okay.
Too Short. Everything progresses. It continues to ramp up and up and up. We can say and do things now in public that you would have gotten arrested for. You know, Bianca Censori, Ye's wife, for example, would have been arrested for indecent exposure at one time. Now it's just she's scantily clad.
So I'm saying the level of what's going to be what shocks these kids is so further past what would have been that shocked us. You know what I mean? So our level of what is the limit we got to go to is probably real sanitized compared to what they're going to get put onto once they hop into Discord and hop on these game chats.
But when you raise your child in a supervised manner, they can be pretty, you know, might not be that shocking to you, Miles, or me.
I mean, as though, like, what you're going to give them to shock them and what they're actually going to step into the world and get shocked with is going to be two different things. So, I mean, what level of preparedness are we sending them into these Discord with?
I mean, my concern is the trauma, right? Because I'm going to I tried to teach my child to make their own decision, to make his own decisions, to be a person of character so that he would respond, which just is the same thing I'm sure your parents did. And you are a person of character, but you know, certain conversations, images, relationships can cause trauma and change your worldview, no matter how much I prepare you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I've never had that type of trauma from an online experience, though. I never got that deep into it. I don't know if you have either, but I think that's a different reality that they're going to have to grow up dealing with than we did.
No, I haven't either, because I don't. You know,
we don't do that.
It's just not. It doesn't gravitate towards me. I'm not those aren't the sites I look at. Those, you know, I'm not a video game girl.
How I meet people.
It's not how I meet people. I don't explore that part of Twitter because Twitter is a whole porn site if you're not careful. That's not my jam. So, But kids is different because they're in the gaming space, and so there are people and predators there, digital predators who could be bots, who could be, advertisers that are going to reach out to them that are not going to reach out to me, and that's what I'm concerned about. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. If you want to talk about a thing, I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
This is Trainer Games.
Watch it on Prime Video starting January 8th.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you and the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Cornell says some Gen Xers remember the world pre-crack. Yeah, well, for sure. Okay, but it's true that not only is the technology full of perils, it's also full of opportunities. There are young people who have gotten rich. There are young people who have gotten help. But now our technology is increasingly being turned over to these oligarchs who may or may not have our best interests. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen to TikTok. I probably wouldn't have cared as much 6 months ago before I started using TikTok. I can see why people like it. It's fun. There's connectivity. It's friendly compared to Twitter. But now it's going to be controlled by the Trump billionaire crew. And so what does that do? How does that change the dynamic? Australia has banned all social media for people under 16. I don't know if that's the answer. Because, imagine, for one thing, kids get help online too. Get help with schoolwork. They look things up. Well, maybe not TikTok, but yeah. How are you going to keep them off socials if they're on the internet, though?
Did you sign off on it if it was a help though? If it was something that we kind of all agree, like, yeah, it may not be the answer, but it does help. If that is a problem, would you sign off on it, Dominique?
I don't know. Would you? 16 and under, no social media whatsoever. Here's the thing about it. I think it's not going to work.
It's going to work either, yeah.
Because how are you verifying their age? It's the same thing I just said. It's like if you want to go on a site that sells alcohol, you have to tell them that you're 21. So, of course, you're going to tell them you're 21 and just go by the gatekeeper.
Right.
It's like, are you human? As soon as there's bots that know how to check every square with a traffic light or a bicycle, they're in. Like, I don't know.
You saying that we should have just no guardrails, period, then? We should let that be?
No, I'm not saying no guardrails. I just don't know. I think, to me, they're regulating the wrong end. We need to regulate the platforms because the kids are going to get to you. They are going to get to you.
Regulate what we have the companies regulate what we see on our platforms?
What kids can see on the platforms, yeah. And I don't know how they verify that they're kids, though.
Right.
That's what they need to fix. That's what they need to solve. I mean, look, you're the ones that wanted to sell our pictures and our data to each other and to you. I mean, this is, especially when we look at what's happening right now when we talk about youth suicide in general and black children, in particular black boys. We need to know that there is some monitoring. It reminds me, this is going to seem like a non sequitur, but it reminds me of those electronic bicycles and the little scooter things and Uber and, Lyft, where suddenly these tech companies come on the scene and then we all have to adjust. The companies are not being forced to adjust. We, the public, have to adjust. You're supposed to wear a helmet when you jump on one of those little electronic scooter things, but nobody's regulating that. There's no helmet on the scooter. There's no helmets in sight. You know what I'm saying? Do I want to take away a ride from a kid who really needs it? No. Do I want a kid busting their head open? No. And the electric bikes we're now finding like terrible life-threatening injuries that are happening. They're not being regulated. You don't need a license for that. Tech innovates, and then the law catches up eventually, maybe. I don't know. I feel like if black people were starting all these enterprises, we would be more regulated. And now you can jump in a stranger's car and get a ride. On an internet app, which you don't know the person, and we're taking the company's word for it that they've been vetted. I'm not saying abolish Uber. I use it. Lyft. I use it. But I'm just saying this technology comes along. Oh, how does that impact taxis? How are we keeping you safe? Oh, Airbnb is here. How does it impact hotels? Are we keeping you safe? Are there cameras in the Airbnbs? Like, I'm not meaning to make you paranoid, but the point is, why is the new tech less regulated than all other businesses?
Deep in it, Dominique. We're deep in it. I like it.
Why? Because they're creating societal changes. Now, if it's me or you and we're grown adults and we decide we want to risk our lives getting in a car with a stranger
and at somebody's house
or go stay at somebody's house, that's on us. But back to Discord, little kids are doing that, and we have no idea as their parents what they're saying or who they're talking to.
Train them up, because that becomes a norm for them.
Well, isn't that also the company's responsibility?
I think it may be the company's motive.
So if Smith & Wesson hands my kid a gun, they would have responsibility if my kid shot themselves or someone else. But Discord can hand my kid a virtual gun, and they have no responsibility? I think not. All right, it's time for news, traffic, and sports. We're taking your phone calls. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bray Wood with VIN News Now. A Detroit man is being praised after walking a 6-year-old girl over 10 blocks to school in freezing 10-degree weather. Joshua Threat streamed the moment on Facebook Live, saying he didn't want her in his truck, so he walked beside her.
You got this little precious little girl just out here walking by herself, bro. How old is you? 6? Nah.
The video's gone viral and police confirm the child is safe